Hey there, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Reviewcade, where we are playing classic Atari games.
Hell yeah.
And so the way that we're going to be doing this is we're going to be taking turns playing 6 classic Atari games, so we're going to be alternating each episode. So this episode, I'm going to be playing Centipede, then the next episode, Andrew will be playing one of his 3 games, and then so on and so forth. And let's just dive right into it, man. I really love Centipede. It's one of my favorite games. Especially classic, and you can get these games. We're playing these right now through they have the Atari classics like pack, like volume. So this is like volume 1. Volume 2 has other games as well, like Missile Command and tons of other classic games as well. And I just died. No. So the cool thing is that not only do these collections have just classic arcade games. They actually have like 2,600 games. So there's like a whole litany. Jesus!
I was like, he's gonna do it. Don't do it, Nick.
Oh, good God, man.
The difficulty is high. The simplicity is low. The difficulty is high.
Yeah, this is just fucking ridiculous. Oh my God!
Ooh. How's that final boss from Castle Crashers treating you by comparison? Granted, this is a little bit more straightforward. You have a very particular things that you have to do.
Yeah. So again, we're playing Centipede, and this. Again, it's one of my favorite games of Atari, and I never had 2,600. I had a friend that did. But what's great, though, is... Did you know that they actually did Atari comic books?
No.
Yeah, so back in... This is probably about 5 years ago or so. Atari, I believe, did a partnership, I believe it was with Boom Studios, for basically a grouping of Atari video game adaptation comics, and Centipede was one of them. And the way that Centipede was done was it was very, very well done, where basically the world is over and this giant, and you're like this guy, and you have to go out into this world, and there's a giant like centipede, and you had to, and so basically it's just like this guy versus a centipede. I can't remember what other ones. There was like a bunch of them that they did. But yeah, they did that. They actually did that. Actually came around, I think, around the time that Atari had the Atari art book that came out, which was I actually have a copy of it somewhere. And I want to thank the publisher, of course, for sending it to me. This is, of course, back when I did the podcast, and they sent us a copy. Thing's fucking massive. Like, it is. You want to talk coffee table book? Like, the thing's freaking huge.
Oh, man. I thought you were talking about the Centipede. I'm like,
oh no,
really?
Yeah, no, they sent
like
me
grandeur and scale back in the day was not a, I honestly, like, large scale things were not really prevalent by comparison. Like, yeah, like you look back at the 50s and you had these giant monster movies, but even those giant monsters, they were like maybe the size of a semi-truck. They weren't like city-spanning monstrosities that defeat you with, a look of their, That's so I was like, yeah, the thing's massive. I'm like, wow, really? Normally the big bugs, it was like comic, it was defeatable at least.
Well, yeah, but in the comic, it's really, really big. It's huge. It's basically like King Kong-esque size. Like if you've seen Kong Skull Island, it's like the size of one of those types of creatures. It's fucking massive. But yeah, the coffee book, or the art book is really, really awesome. And it has like all different. Not only is it just an art book, but it has like the story behind Atari and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just, again, it's great playing these games because, again, even though I didn't grow up with a 2600, my first console was, I'm not sure what your first console was. Mine was an NES. But to be able to go back and like just to cherish these things, I think it's important also. I think for parents who are gamers is just to like get their kids into these types of games where not everything is such grand scale and major boss battles. It's it's literally a couple bits put together, and you're shooting, little tiny ass pixels at a giant centipede, basically.
My first personal system was the N64. I played the NES.
Yeah.
Was my first ever video game experience was the NES. My first personal video game system was the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
Which I still have to this day. It is I got it when I was 6, if I remember correctly. I got it when I was when did the 64 come out?
90s, late 90s, like 97, 98.
Yeah, I think I was 8 when I got.
So I know the Dreamcast came out in 99. Because it was 99.
I know I got my. I know I got the N64 when I was around 8.
Yeah.
Just because it was near the end of the millennium, and I had saved up the money from my allowance to go purchase it at the Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Talk about way too many memories.
Oh yeah.
And that I think I was 8-ish when I got that. But the first time I ever played video games was at my aunt and uncle's house, because my cousin, I think the cousin that's closest to me in age, because I'm technically like the baby of my generation of cousins, because my dad is the baby of his family. So all like his youngest kids, his youngest child is going to be the youngest of that generation.
Yeah.
So the cousin that I think was closest to me in age, my cousin Tim, he had an NES, and I remember he was like, "Hey Andrew," because he also had a massive box of Legos, like 2 monstrous boxes of Legos that like we would go down for Thanksgiving. I'd go into the basement. I'd just play with Legos while I wait for the adults to cook all the food, and then come up and eat Thanksgiving. Well, one year, when I was like old enough to like really understand what was going on,
right,
my cousin was like, "Hey Andrew, do you want to go play video games?" And I'm like, "What are those?" And I remember going down, and he brought out the NES,
right,
and popped in Super Mario World 3.
Yeah, dude.
Was that? No, that was SNES, wasn't it?
Super Mario World was SNES. Super Mario Brothers 3, 1 through 3 were NES, but SNES was Super Mario World. That was with Mario and Yoshi and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. So the turnip one. The one where you throw the fucking turnips.
Super Mario 2. That was the one with the turnips.
Yeah. So that was the first game I ever like legit played outside of like going to an arcade or something.
Yep.
You know? I still remember thinking like, how am I moving it?
Yeah.
How am I doing? How am I making the TV move? That was the first
you
thing.
thought you were making the physical TV move. Like, oh yeah, it's that is the beauty of being growing up in a side scroller generation where you had this power, like you're because you go to the arcades were a thing and people would go and do their stuff, but like there's just something about being home and having this console that you can just go through multiple different worlds in, and just like the whole Nintendo thing. Now you're playing with power, like you felt powerful because you are on your own moving this thing, and you're in a side scroller generation where you don't know what's coming up next. And a lot of times it was surprising, oh cool, here's a boss fight, or a lot of times it was, oh shit, I really wish I had, in case of Mario, where you're like, I wish I wasn't running so fast because I ran off this platform and died. Like some of the levels that I not hate, but just like the ones that were most nail biting for me in Mario games, and are still to this day, are the Mario levels where the screen moves on its own, where it's and you're on, and you have to jump from platform to platform to platform, and you're in the sky. Those are the fucking worst for me. I hate those in a good way, like because it's like
because they're frustrating. They're difficult.
Yeah.
They're not. There's a limit on what you're able to pull off.
But I will say this, like classic games, like honestly, like playing Centipede now, like this, playing this now, like, one reason why I wanted to play Centipede is because I love Galaga, and Midway made Galaga.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch, like, there's a lot of similarities between this and Galaga and stuff like that. And this is kind of like Snake meets Galaga, and it's one of those things where playing this is it's simple, it's fun. Yes, I've died numerous times throughout this episode.
I was going to say, are we going to talk about how many times you've died to stupid shit?
A lot. But again, it's not one of those where it's like, playing Castle Crashers where we die and I'm like, shit, goddamn.
You can just pop this back in and keep going, whereas Castle Crashers, you're a little bit of a slog on that one.
Well, yeah, because even though there's levels on this, like Castle Crashers, like I think it's also because there's a story tied to it.
Yeah.
So you're like, I want to get to the end. Whereas like this, like, okay, I died multiple times. I've had to restart the game, multiple times, but it's fine. Like, because it's simple. I'm not expecting a whole lot out of it in terms of just like, is this game good or bad? Like, it's a fun-ass game, and I love playing this, and it's good for building hand-eye coordination, and I love that. So it's just...
Video games don't give you extra skills in life.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of funny how the WHO is like, video games is a problem, and now, because of the situation that we're in terms of the world, the WHO comes out and says, like, hey, video games are actually a great thing to do.
Exactly.
It's like... Okay, guys. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I think growing up with parents, and during the '90s when like professional video games was not a thing. And people saw video games as kind of like what about the children kind of thing. Go outside and play and all this other stuff. But nowadays, it's like I love how video games have become so A, accessible, but B, just acceptable. Like, in terms of just spending time playing video games. Like,
parents are literally like having their children play the games that they played growing up.
Yes.
Now. I mean, it's because our generation's actually having kids.
Yes. Yeah. But it's also like, but again, it's like when when I have kids, like, I can't wait to play this with them or play, classic Super Nintendo games or Mario games. Like, I can't wait to sit down with my son and or daughter and be like, put in Super Mario 3 for the first time. And be like, hey, this is the game that got me into gaming.
I almost want to have my future child.
Yeah.
Ren.
Ren.
Plural or non-plural, I don't know. If any. Like, go back to the basics and learn the basics as a young child. Like, play SNES first.
Yeah.
Then play 64. Then play, GameCube or PlayStation, and then play play through the generations because we learned so many new mechanics on how to play because of those games, and I can appreciate like Borderlands, the newest Borderlands. I've been through the years of playing that game from 1 to 2 to 3, which has been like a long time.
Yeah.
It's been about 8 years that game series has been out.
Right.
And the advancements and changes that have occurred in those games because of the systems that they were on, because of the way that the requirements of games, like Borderlands 3 has a sliding mechanic.
Yeah.
That's not something I would have ever considered in a Nintendo 64 game. I would have never have asked for that in GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Right? But you learn to appreciate new things as they come. And I think that's why it's important to like give children, since video games are becoming such a prominent feature in social, just in society in general, I think it's important that they gain a history of how to game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, to quickly wrap this up, like, you're going. It's important because not only are, as you said, you're going through different styles of play and mechanics, but you're also going through different art styles. You're going through, hey, here's how 8-bit games started out, and look at where we got. We're at Final Fantasy VII Remake or a Borderlands 3. And just in terms of like how detailed things got over the years, and Yeah, because I think because growing up, it is kind of painful to go back and play like an N64 game or a PlayStation game, like because just how it looks. But if you're a kid going through the progressions of just the art style and the form of these games, you're like, oh wow, this is like fantastic. This is beautiful, and I love these games so much. Like I love playing these games because again, it's like I love living in a city that, of course, being Los Angeles, where we have the opportunity to go to places like legit arcades and play games like Galaga and Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and Tapper.
Pinball, god dang.
Pinball. Like, oh god, like, exactly, like, that's just a game, those are just, it just brings back youth, but it just, again, like, I'm really good at fucking pinball. I remember being at a party with our friends once, and, like, someone came up to me and they saw, like, I was just doing really good. I was playing Deadpool pinball machine, and they were like, dude, you're fucking really good, and I was, like, dialed in, because I fucking love pinball, because it does well for my hand-eye coordination and stuff like that, as well as these games, so it's just one of those things where it's like, I have
a good basis for younger children to learn how to game.
Yes. I mean, especially now because parents are legit paying tutors to tutor their kids in Fortnite so they can be professional players. Ugh. You know, like, yeah. But I mean, League of Legends is another one. Like, it's just like who would have thought? You know, like as kids, we always wanted like one day something. You know,
one day I'm gonna make money off of this, mom and dad.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and even to this day, my parents just kind of like can still kind of figure out like how it's possibly become a thing. Oh God, one more life, I think. Come on, let's go. And it's gone. And it's gone. Oh, I got one more. Oh shit. I guess I accrued them because I didn't die. I got through. It's hard. The thing about this level is that it's hard because it makes something like you're not doing anything, but you're shooting blue missiles instead. So it's like hard because it's a black backdrop. Come on, you fucker.
Yeah, the graphics on this game,
damn it!
They're not up to my normal specifications, but whatever.
And that's gonna do it for Centipede. Man, that was so much fun! Oh my god.
The memories.
It's really, really great to just play these types of games. So when we play the next episode of Review K, it's gonna be Andrew's turn.
Hell yeah!
What game he's chosen his game, but what game it will be, you'll have to wait and find out.
It will be a mystery. You'll have to tune in next time to find out what game it will be.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.